Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome back into another edition of Astros Recap. David Artis, your boy, back here, ready to break things down for you. It is Monday, off day for the Astros. It is August 8th, 2022, 9:22 p.m. So another week is wrapped up for the Astros. So I'm looking at the schedule as we speak here, but the Astros, another subpar week for the team. Obviously, last week, talked to you on Monday after I got back from my trip. 3-4 week there. They did the same thing this week, 3-4. So, last week, not this previous week, the week before, obviously being swept for the first time all year in Oakland, and then coming back home, bouncing back, taking 3-4 against Seattle. So things were at least better towards the end of the week. This time, not so much. Losing 2-3 to Boston, which is kind of unacceptable. Boston's been a middling 500 team for the majority of the year. At least for the last month or two, they've really been struggling to sort of, string series wins, just wins in general together. But yeah, you can't lose. They lost 2-3 to them earlier this year in Boston. So chance to at least sort of even the season series, but they end up losing 4-6 to them. Not a huge deal. I think Boston's a team they'll have to worry about in the playoffs, but still, it's a team that they should beat. And then you go into Cleveland, and you take the first two games in the series, you look good, and then you lose the final two, so you end up splitting the series. I would have taken, if they had won 3 or 4 and went 4-3 this week and sort of even things out after the subpar week 2 weeks ago, I would have been okay, but they couldn't just get one of the wins on Saturday and Sunday, so it made the week not a good week. Now, they're not dreadfully bad. A lot of teams have, like the Yankees, for instance, have lost 5 in a row. And the Astros had a chance easily to overtake them for the top seed. Now, how important that top seed is, it's how important you think home field advantage is. Because the first two teams are going to get a bye. The Astros are in no danger of losing the second seed if that's indeed where they're going to be at. Minnesota's the next closest team. Actually, I take that back. Minnesota leads their division, but just a standings update for you. Minnesota's 57-51. The second place team in our division's closer to the Astros than Minnesota is, and we still have an 11-game lead. So we're not really in danger of losing anything, as the Astros sit at 70-40. So if you would have told me after 110 games, the Astros would be 70-40. I probably would have signed up for that in a heartbeat. So, I try to keep things in perspective. So even when the Astros aren't playing their best baseball, I still have to keep things in perspective. So, I'm still happy with that record. Yankees are 70-39, so they have a half-game lead. They're playing actually right now. They're playing Seattle, so we'll root for Seattle. If Seattle wins, then we're tied, and we have the tiebreaker over the. What do we win? 5 of 7 against the Yankees, so we have the tiebreaker there, so that's good. But how important is that number one seed? It would be nice to have home field advantage. I will say that. It's important in that regard. I like the wild card teams here. Let's see here. Yeah, Toronto, they're all really bunched in right there. Baltimore's a game and a half back in the 4th seed there. Cleveland's a respectable team. So, splitting in Cleveland isn't the worst thing in the world. You have to give them a little bit of respect. They're not a terrible team. The Astros play teams in their division. Now, Seattle's a decent team, but really, everybody else you really should beat up on. You should take those series, no question. Let's see, where's Boston? Boston's 54-56. So, Boston's, they're 5 games out of the 3rd wild card. I don't see them really making a run. I wasn't high on Boston going into the year just strictly because, I think they vastly overachieved last year, and usually teams that overachieve take a step back the following year. So that's where I sort of saw Boston, and they've fallen fast. Well, not fast, but they've been struggling, I feel like, the majority of the year. You got Chicago ahead of them. You got Cleveland ahead of them. You got Baltimore ahead of them. I just don't see them overtaking those teams to make a run at a wild card spot. Texas, we played Texas starting with three game set with Texas starting tomorrow. and they've fallen. They've not played. I didn't realize because they were right around 500. I felt like for a good while there, but I look up and they're 48 and 60, so they've fallen hard times. In fact, now that I look at this, look at the division closer. So Seattle's 11 games back. The third place team is Texas. They're 21 games back. So yeah, we should easily take 2 or 3 in this series. I don't like to get greedy. I don't like to say sweep, so I won't even say it. But 2 or 3, win the series. I'll take that. As I look ahead here, I know I haven't even talked about this week's games yet, but sort of getting off track a little bit. But then they stay home and they play Oakland. And you owe Oakland some losses after what they've done. They've taken the last 5 of the last 6 meetings against the Astros. They've won 5 of 6. So you owe Oakland some losses. Yeah, usually I don't get hyped up against bad teams, but when it's a bad team that's actually beating you quite a bit, yeah, that'll be an important series. Which is weird to say because it's Oakland and you're into August and you have a huge lead. But I think it's some payback time for Oakland in our ballpark. So, yeah. So I'll look ahead here. So, like I said, losing 2 or 3 to Boston, splitting with Cleveland. We talked about the trade deadline. I was on Tuesday, so I was on Monday and Tuesday, I believe, this previous week. So, talked about the moves they made. Obviously, Trey Mancini was the big move. Well, big move if you count what he's done this past week. But obviously also Christian Vasquez and Will Smith. Will Smith has had a few appearances. He gave up a home run in his first appearance, but I think his next 2 have been scoreless outings. Not like 1, 2, 3 innings, but he's been able to work around a few base runners, I think. So we'll see what Will Smith is. I can't be super hyped up, but I'm also not super upset about it. He's better than any lefty they've had all year. I mean, you're only comparing him to Blake Taylor and Parker Mashinsky. So, and Mashinsky, if you ask me, he's been the better lefty. He's been better than Blake Taylor this year in the very small sample size he's shown at the big league level. But both of them are hurt, or Mashinsky got sent back down. I don't know exactly. But yeah, Will Smith is the lone lefty, I would say, in the bullpen right now. Yeah, I'm pretty confident in saying that. Mashinsky was on this team like a week and a half ago. I don't know if it was just momentarily, but I remember him pitching a game in Seattle back, let's see, like he pitched on the 30th or 31st of July. So, I mean, I remember him pitching in one game. It was him and, so the bullpen, Dusty was giving a lot of people days off, which he likes to do quite often. But it was like the 8th, 9th inning, and he had to go Mashinsky and Abreu to close it out, which worked. But I don't know necessarily if Mashinsky's on our 25-man roster. I want to say yeah, I think when Will Smith it's a tough one. So I don't know. But yeah, the offense became an issue early this past week. So they lost on Tuesday after the off day. Well, hold on. What am I looking at? They didn't have an off day. So yeah, Monday they lost 3-2. The 2 runs they scored were both unearned. Xander Bogaerts had a tough time at shortstop one inning that really led to the 2 runs. So you literally actually were lucky to actually be close. You should have been shut out. But, I think Garcia pitched this game. Wasn't terrible. I mean, he got the loss, but he went 7 innings of 3-run baseball, which I'll take from Garcia. But again, there's just the hitters. Maton and Montero had scoreless innings, but yeah, we really should have been shut out there. The second game, lost this one 2-1. You score 1 run. They actually scored their 1 run in the first inning. I think it was a leadoff double and then a bloop single, and then from that point forward, we got shut down by a no-name pitcher. Now, let's see. I got to look into this now. Let's see if this loads. Cutter Crawford. Don't know much about him. In fact, he's played in 17 games. ERA's at 4.30, so I don't know why you'd struggle against him. But when it's the Astros offense and they go into their lulls, it doesn't really matter who they're facing. They're not going to hit. And it looked that way, but they did bounce back Wednesday. Mancini had the big home run his first at bat. Tucker had a 2-run double, so we came out, put up 6 runs, so I was satisfied with that just to salvage a game there. Urquidy, again, did his thing. He's been great for, 2.5 months now. Urquidy's been, fantastic for us. And you think about Urquidy's ERA, that was over 5 at one point, after the month of April, May, whatever it was. But it's gone down to 3.62, and he's actually 10-4 in the year. So Urquidy's been good, real good. Not upset with him at all in the rotation at this point. So, but salvaged the game. Then you go into Cleveland. Things are getting good. I mean, you won 6-3 on Thursday. Friday was the big Mancini game as he had another home run and a grand slam. So Mancini's got 3 home runs in the very limited amount of time. But, bad notes on Saturday, 4-1. I'm okay with that loss. It's the Sunday loss where Tristan McKenzie once again shut down the Astros, which he also did in Houston earlier this year. But he went 8 innings of 2-hit baseball. I mean, the Astros weren't even really getting a pitch count against him, I felt like. But I look at the numbers. 8 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. And he's not like some world beater this year. He's been good against the Astros. He's decent. The ERA is at 3.16. He's 8-8. Yeah, Clase came in and got the save, but the Astros, that wasn't good. The last 2 games was not good. They need the day off. I think today's important for them to just rest and sleep back at home here and, take the day off. August has always been a tough month for the Astros. I just feel like August is really the dog days of summer. Like, that's, even when the Astros have had their 100-win seasons, which they're on pace to do again this year. But in 17, 18, 19, the 3 straight seasons where their record was 100 wins or higher. They won 101 in 17. No, wait. Sounds right. 101 in 17, 103 in 18, 107 in 19. I think all 3 of those years they had losing records in August, which was their only win-loss, like their only record under 500 any month of the year was August. So, but again, you got teams you should beat on the schedule here, at least this week as I look at things. Now, you do play the White Sox, who are playing a little bit better the following week. Atlanta, obviously, rematched the World Series last year. But this week, 4-2 should be the goal. If they go 4-2 this week, I'll take it. So, and that's just winning both of these series. So, that's the way I look at things offensively. Talked about the trade deadline, and time will tell how well these trades work out. I do like the moves he made. I think he addressed the needs. Astros needed some depth. I think Vasquez and Mancini add that depth. They'll also get starts. I think Vasquez should start more behind the plate. Haven't seen enough yet to get a very good gauge on how they're going to do this. 50-50 split. Maldonado could use some days off, so I think we'll see a lot of that. Mancini, in the games he started, has played first base. I think twice, maybe DH'd once. He actually might have been. So I didn't see a lot of Sunday's game. I don't know why, but this game was broadcasted on Peacock. So you had to pay to actually watch the game, which I wasn't going to do. I had to work anyway. But I'm curious if... See here. See where Mancini played first base. So we have not seen Mancini in the outfield yet. And I was kind of curious to see if they would play him out there. But your outfield right now isn't very good. I mean, if you got Alvarez in left, okay. But you really don't have a center fielder. Jake Myers hasn't been good. Chas McCormick has not been good. They traded Jose Siri. I'm fine with that. Right field, you have Kyle Tucker, who's been just dreadfully terrible offensively. Now, he did get a few hits on Wednesday, which sort of might have hoping maybe broke him out of his slump, but then he got sick. He was ill, and he was out Thursday, Friday. I think he pitch hit on Saturday. Did he start on Sunday? I don't think he did. So what we found out, he didn't play. Dusty had COVID, so I know Espada's been the head or the manager last few games, but also Tucker caught COVID. So I don't know what the scenario is there, if they're going to be ready by tomorrow or not. But I like Joe Espada. In fact, I think he should be the manager. Like, I like him more than Dusty Baker. In fact, I think Espada should have gotten the job after they fired A.J. Hinch, but they chose not to go that route. But I think Espada deserves a chance to be a manager, and I just like him overall more than Dusty. So that's good water. Anyway, so yeah. Quick breakdown of the week of games there. I'm not going to spend too much more time here, but yes, they go the Astros go 4-2. Bats still need to wake up a little bit. You need more production from center field, obviously. You'll get Bregman back at third. We'll see what he can provide. Obviously, Pena at shortstop. Thing with Pena, yep, not too upset with his play this year. I think he's been as good as you could have hoped. But the ERA's dipped under 250. I just feel like I can't give Pena a pass for this, but I feel like the more games he plays and the more the average drops. That's part of baseball. Like, you play 162 games. But the way, if Pena can hit over 250 and give me 20 home runs, I'll probably take it. So that's what I'll be looking for Pena. And he's bounced around the order. He's actually hit leadoff, I think, the last game, which was a little surprising. But, he's hitting a two-hole. A little bit more lately, obviously. Him and Gurriel have sort of, been in the two-hole, I feel like. He's hit down, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, so I'm looking at some of the stats. So Tucker actually got in the game. He pinch hit, I think. So, yeah, it looks like he pinch hit, so, yeah. So that means that Tucker is probably good to go, I would assume, which, hopefully, he's hitting 241, so his average has plummeted, but be good to see Tucker in the lineup. Myers, obviously, 223 average. I still want Myers to hold down the center field spot, but again, he's not hitting well enough to do so at this point, so I don't like Chas McCormick. I've sat here, I've said that. He's hitting 236. Altuve, 283, I'll take that. Maldonado, 183. Vasquez, who also pinch hit on Sunday, hitting 277. So, yeah, there's a pretty substantial difference in the averages between Vasquez and Maldonado. So, Pena, 248. Diaz, 251. Alvarez, right at 300. Alvarez has not hit a home run in like 10 games. So, that's something, I don't think he's done that all year. You can expect Alvarez to hit about 2 home runs a week. And it's been a week and a half where he hasn't hit any. So hopefully he'll bounce out of that, either tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday, one of these games in the series, get back on his home run. He's got exactly 30. He's on pace to get to 40. But yeah, so not playing great baseball, but I keep things in perspective. I can't be mad at a 70-40 record. So all in all, I can't be too upset. But if you can take 2 or 3 against Texas and Oakland and sort of eliminate your sort of back-to-back 3 and 4 weeks, which is what you would do, I'll take it. And I'll be here Sunday night, and I'll be thrilled. Well, not thrilled. Well, I should be here Sunday night because, yeah, I'll be here. Well, we'll see. Apparently, I don't work at all next week, like the weekdays. I always work the weekends, but not the weekdays. So I'll have time, but it is a full week. The Astros had an off day today. Then they have, what is it? 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 more consecutive games without a day off. So, and then they'll get 2 more Mondays off to finish out the month of August. Then you go into September. But yeah, I'll wrap things up there. I'm coming up on almost 20 minutes. Again, like the video, share it with your friends. Love to hear your comments in the section below, always. But we'll talk to you next Sunday night, if not early afternoon Monday. Yeah, Monday. But hopefully, we'll see. It just depends on how things shake out Sunday night. So look for me Sunday night, Monday early afternoon. And we'll recap obvious end of the week in Astros baseball. Wrap things up there. We'll see you next time.